Hello and welcome to the Uncultured Nerd Show. My name is Maeve and I'm an uncultured nerd. But I'm getting more culture because we're on to the second to last episode of the live-action One Piece. I know that's not even a drop in the ocean that is the One Piece lore, but hey, it's a start. And speaking of starts, Unhinged Recap! Buggy is leading the crew to Nami, and he's still my favorite character. Luffy questions if Nami is okay, and Sanji thinks she's good inside, but Zoro thinks otherwise, and cue backstory flashback for Nami! Finally! Nami seems to have had a friend and a happy life, but I'm guessing something bad happened to bring her to the present where she's joined back up with the fish dudes. And hey look, it's the rest of Buggy! And some backstory. Turns out Nami was an orphan raised with a friend on a farm by a soldier who found them after a pirate raid. But she got the thief bug early since they were still very poor. Arlong and Nami are apparently in some sort of deal which keeps Nami on the crew, but it doesn't seem like she really likes it there. The Marines show up at the restaurant, and it's obvious they know Zeph is lying, but it looks like they're staying to eat. The Straw Hats show up to the village Arlong's been taxing, where Nami shows up to collect, and hey look, it's her foster sister, and I guess this is the town she grew up in, triggering flashback! Nami returns the book she stole to the constable, and check it out, the fishermen are here on their first raid! While Nami has a reunion with the Straw Hats and totally doesn't need any help and is all tough and never wants to see them again, sure. Usopp and Zoro think she's turned bad, while Sanji has hope, and Luffy decides to find her sister, who's not up for talking, but the road to everyone is through their stomachs, so luckily, Sanji's here. Grandpa Garp exchange wisdom jabs with Zeph, and we return to the fisherman party, where it's interrupted by some cat marines, which turns out cover Arlong's tracks for cuts of the treasure. Nami's sister fills in the crew with more backstory. Arlong attacked their house and their mother sacrificed herself to save Nami and Nojiko. Usopp voices the obvious confusion of why Nami would work for someone who killed their mother, and they all get really sad. Zoro and Luffy have a heart-to-heart, and looks like Zoro's back on board with saving Nami. Back at fish camp, turns out a group of Marines took bribes from Arlong to keep other Marines out of his area, and Nami has some sort of deal with Arlong, which gets her out for 100 million. Still no clue what the deal is, but I'm sure we'll get to it, just like I'm sure Arlong's going to double-cross her. We get some bonding from Kobe and Helmeppo, and Kobe does some revealing about Grandpa and Luffy, while the bartender might know where they went. Grandpa and Zeph have a heart-to-heart. Man, there's a lot of those in this episode, and yeah, bartender fessed up, and the Marines are off again. Buggy does some stand-up while Usopp builds some bombs, and Nami digs up the money in her mother's grave. Weird place to hide that, but Najiko finds her, and thank goodness gives Nami a chance to explain. Turns out Nami exchanged her navigating skill for the chance to buy her village back from Arlong, and that's what the money's for. But not for long, because Arlong sent those corrupt Marines to steal Nami's money. Arlong riles his troops to battle while Nami realizes she made a big oopsie. Luffy turns up, super serious I might add, and Nami finally asks another person for help, and girl, of course he will, 3 times over. And they better hurry, because that village looks pretty burned already. Okay, some minor thoughts out of the way before we get to the big stuff. Finally got to see more of Arlong's crew, and I'm really loving these designs, as well as the fact that it looks mostly practical. It's like a colorful, more creative version of Davy Jones's crew. Again, the octopus dude, not the monkey. I'm still not really understanding the other species in this world, because Kaya's lawyer was some sort of sheep, and the Marine is sort of like a bunny or a cat, but Arlong refers to him as human, so is it just aesthetics or genetic experimentation? What's going on? I'm guessing it's explained more in the original. I am still loving Buggy, and I'm really curious about the behind-the-scenes filming of his scenes. Is it all green screen, or do those tables have holes in them? So excited to get into extra features after the last episode. We got some unlikely but interesting pairings with Garp and Zeph, and Kobe and Helmeppo. I would be into seeing both of them more. Garp and Zeph really seem to be the same type of person, but Garp didn't know when to stop and Zeph did. Their conversation felt genuine, and I'm wondering if they have any personal history or they just know each other's reputations. And for the other pair, Helmeppo seems to be coming down to earth pretty quick without his father around, and Kobe seems conflicted about hunting down Luffy. And I'm not sure which way he's leaning more. The two of them together work off each other very well, as they have extremely different backgrounds but share confusion about their place in the world. And now to the main event. Nami, you got some major baggage. And I think I was about 50% right. She did lose her village and family to pirates, which is why she joined Arlong's crew, but I was not expecting Arlong to be the pirate who killed her mother. And now that the shock is gone, let's talk about this twist. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people giving Nami flack for her decision. And honestly, I understand, because by God, this was a dumb decision. And it was even dumber to not tell anyone why she joined the crew. It just caused more pain for no reason. But what does need to be remembered was she was a kid when she did this. And in her mind, she was being the selfless hero who would save her village. And as she grew up, I'm guessing she started to realize the stupidity of her decision, but at that point, she's in too deep, and her only way out of the deal was Arlong. There are still a lot of holes in her plan that can be pointed to and picked apart, and it's really frustrating that because of her, the group is in a whole lot of trouble, but I think she knows that. She knows she messed up big time, so much so that she can finally let down her walls and ask someone for help. Which, can we talk about how well this scene was done? The framing of Luffy standing above her shows how far she has fallen, but that Luffy is now here for her as her true captain, and is ready to lead his Straw Hats into battle. This slack and stupid decision-making, I will not give to her mother, cause okay, sure, don't deny your daughters, but maybe do it when it's their lives at stake. Just say you had friends over, lady. There were more ways around this that didn't involve you dying and permanently traumatizing your kids. I think this annoys me more cause it was so easily worked around. Nami could have accidentally given herself up, which would have put even more guilt on her conscience, cause then it would have been her fault her mother died, blinding her judgment even more. This is one of those times, a dumb character moment I can't attribute to storytelling logic cause there were so many ways around it, and even if it's what happened in the original, I'm sure other things have been changed. This should have been one of those things. But putting all that aside, this was a satisfying enough backstory for Nami that leads us into the final act. Overall, this was a well-crafted episode leading into the finale. I had some problems with the character choices, but they're not too hard to overlook. The character arcs for Luffy and Nami are coming close to full circle, with Nami finally admitting she needs help, and Luffy filling in the role as a real captain. I'm very excited for the final battle, although I'm guessing this won't be the ending that wraps up everything, and honestly, I don't want it to be. I know there's no way to do the entire anime in live action just because the actors would age out of their roles after a few seasons, but I'm up for a few more, and honestly, I'm tempted by the anime despite how daunting the task would be. So that's it for this episode of Uncultured Nerd. Thank you, Professor and family members, for watching, and I'll be back with the finale. See y'all later.